Hello, so I'm going to make a tutorial today, or attempt to help out a couple of my friends on DeviantArt who had different questions. And I'm going to break this down into a few different parts because I'm going to put it on YouTube, but if you're watching this on live stream, then it'll be all together. But alright, so part 1, line art. For line art, I've gotten better at line art than I used to be. But there's different things here. I use Paint Tool Sai and a Wacom bamboo tablet. If you use a mouse, when I first originally started using a mouse, I did this with Line Tool, which is right here. And then you can drag lines and stuff. But if you have a tablet, I would suggest using a regular layer. Now, when I first started drawing, I sketch it. You can sketch it on a piece of paper and scan it and upload it and then bring it into Sai, or you can do this a couple different ways. But I just sketched this straight in Sai. So this was my original sketch. What I do is I'll add a new layer, and to add a new layer you just click this button right here, new layer, over top of this one. But before I do, I lower the opacity so that way it's more see-through. And then when I sketch over to my actual lines, I can see it better. Now you can do line art for the hair, the skin, the clothes, everything on different layers, or you can just do it all on one. I have most of my things on one layer because I will sketch them all separately and then I add my layers to each other. I merge them, which is this tool. It just combines your layers as I go. But I still have a couple that are just sort of singled out. Okay, so then this eye tool, just take off. You can either delete this, or I would suggest just hiding it by clicking that eye. And then I have a line art folder. So this has all of my line art in it. If you want to color your line art, hit new layer, clip grouping. So this is clipped to your line art layer and only your line art layer, and then you can color it any way you want. So if you want to have your skin a certain colored line and your hair a certain colored line, that's how you do it. Another way to do it is to click your specific line art layer, and this is helpful if you have every different layer for every different little colored thing. You can hit preserve opacity, and then you can color it on only what it's lined. So see how I can't color the tail because it's not that layer? And you can do it this way too. So it just depends on how your line art is done. Alright, now when I draw line art, I wish I'd known this when I first started. I use the pencil tool. I've tried using the brush tool, but I use the pencil tool. And you should look at some of the stats over here. Minimum size. This judges, okay, so if you have it at 100%, you can do that. If you have it at 0%, you have more control over how thick your line is depending on pressure. So when I do line art, I keep it at the lowest point possible. I keep it at 0%. Density, on the other hand, controls how see-through your line is. So it's at 100. Everything's solid. If it's at like around 50, it's a lot more see-through. So if you have it up somewhere in the 90s is normally where I keep it. And if you have it at 0, of course you're going to draw and you're not going to be able to see anything. So also what I do is for the stabilizer, I keep it at S6 or S7 when I draw line art. And this naturally lags your line, so it's a lot easier when you're tracing over your sketch. Versus when it doesn't lag your line, it's sloppier, depending on how precise you are, depending on what kind of drawer you are. But for me, I find it very helpful to have it at S6 or S7. So that's how I do my line art. I sketch it and I add new layers, and I have the stabilizer on, and these are how I have my settings. If you have any questions about line art, let me know. That's line art. Alright.